The Celtics choke away another game here in the conference semifinals. This was almost the same game as game one. If you didn't see game two, the TNT actually could have done a rerun in the fourth quarter of game one, and you wouldn't have known the difference. The Knicks once again get down 20 in the second half. Once again get down 20 with a little over 4 or 5 minutes to go, somewhere in the third quarter. And then once again chip the lead in enough, close enough going into the fourth, and then storm all the way back in the fourth quarter, take the lead late, and Bridges with a steal to close it. This was game one reincarnated. And the Celtics, again, miss every three. They have obviously a 20-point lead. They have the Knicks on the ropes, and they completely fall apart. They unravel. And look, I have a few things to say about this. Number one, if you're a Celtic fan, and these Celtic fans, we had a live stream during the game. They asked me in the chat, what should the Celtics do better? Plain and simple, Tatum and Brown have got to play better for the Celtics. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Could they change a few things schematically? Well, they did that tonight a little bit. They took the ball to the basket more. They only took 43s as opposed to 60 in game one. But if Tatum's going to shoot 5 for 19 and score 13 points, and Brown's going to shoot 8 for 23, they're not going to win a lot of games like that. And then they're 10 for 40 from 3. So you take all those things into account, that's not a recipe for success. And to me, that's the biggest thing. But I think when you're looking at it from a standpoint, and by the way, I just want to say this too. This series is far from over. Far from over. We've seen the Celtics a couple years ago go down 3-0 to the Miami Heat, right? They came all the way back. They won the next 3 games, and then they lost at home in Game 7 to Jimmy Butler and the Heat. That was 2 years ago. We've seen that. We saw last year when the Timberwolves went into Denver in the conference semifinals, won the first 2 games on the road. Then they lost the next 3 games. They lost the 2 at home and the next game 5 in Denver before they came back and won the last 2 to win that series in 7. So we know this series is far from over. The Celtics are way too talented. They're the better team that you could ever think this series is over. And if you're the Knicks, you want to go into this game 3 acting like you're down 2-0, not up 2-0. That's the type of desperation you need to have in this game 3. Because this game 3 will either bury the Celtics or they'll think they're right back in the series. Because if the Celtics win game 3, then they're down 2-1. And all they need to go get game 4. And then it's basically like games 1 and 2 never happened. So if you're the Knicks, you need to treat this game 3 as if you're down 2-0 in the series. That's how big, and that's what your mentality should be. And I think for the Celtics, look, they have not played in the last 2 years in series like this. Let's just call it like it is, folks. Celtics are a great team. They have not been challenged like this before in these 2 years. Why do I say this? Well, Justin, they won the championship last year. How could they not be challenged? I'll tell you why. Last year in the first round, they played the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat. That's an easy series. Chalk that up. In the second round, they played the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell. Easy series. Chalk that one up. Then, instead of playing the Knicks in the conference finals, which would have been the tougher series for them, the Knicks lost their whole team basically due to injury. So they get the lesser opponent in the Indiana Pacers. That's an easier matchup for them. A matchup that is not really conference finals worthy. A matchup they can handle. And then in the finals, they don't get the Nuggets or the Thunder. They get the 5 seed Dallas Mavericks, who are a good team. They were not a great team. And that was a team the Celtics can handle. So they didn't get challenged, the Celtics, last year at all. Now, they won the championship. You don't take it away from them. They accomplished that. But I'm just saying. Then this year they played the Magic in the first round. That's not a big-time series. So the Knicks, even though the Knicks aren't as good as Boston, they got beaten like a dead horse in the regular season of Boston. But the Knicks have the talent to match up with Boston. They are a physical, experienced playoff team that has high-end talent. The Celtics have not faced a team like that in these last 2 years. And when they get into close games, which they have not had to play a lot of in these last 2 years in the playoffs, you get a little sweaty. You get a little tight. You know, it's not as easy as when you're up 25. It's not as easy when you're banging all the threes in. Every shot becomes more pressurized, and then you see what you're really made of. And so far, in these 2 games, the Celtics have been bullied a little bit. Honestly, the Knicks should credit the Pistons for kind of toughening them up for this series, because the Knicks' physicality has bothered the Celtics, and the Knicks have been more resilient. Both games, obviously the Celtics were severely outplaying the Knicks for the first 2.5 quarters, both games, up by 20. And that was with them not even playing that well. But you know what? When you give a team a little bit of confidence, and you give them a little bit of hope, like the Celtics have now done with the Knicks, they did it in game 1 and especially tonight. Now the Knicks believe they can win. They believe they can win. And now the Celtics have a little bit of doubt in their mind. When they thought probably going into this series, they were going to see more of the same of what they did to the Knicks in the regular season, which was absolutely bury them. And embarrass them, to be quite honest. But this is the playoffs now. Regular season, no one cares. That out the window. Right? So now, the Celtics have a little more pressure on the line. And also, the games are not called the same way in the playoffs as they're called in the regular season. Those ticky-tack fouls that Tatum and Brown gets on every little hand check and touch and going to the hoop and da-da-da, they don't get those now. You get to play a little more physical, and that favors those Knick wing defenders, OG and Bridges. And Tatum and Brown have not responded well to that so far. They have not responded well. This is the playoffs. It's for men, not boys. Not boys. That you ain't getting those little fouls like you do in the regular season. No, 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 no. You want a basket? You may have to bleed. Got to see blood to get a basket. That's the playoffs. So, if you're the Celtics, you look at these 2 games. Hey, we've outplayed them for most of the game. We choked in both games. Let it slip away and give the Knicks credit because they took it from them. But if the Celtics, you're thinking, hey, one of these games we're going to start shooting well. Let's go into game 3. Let's make our shots. Tatum and Brown step up. And then boom, that's our game. Because if they made shots in this game or game 1, they probably would have won by 25. But you know what the problem with that is? Every game that goes by that you don't make those shots, you start to doubt them a little more. And you're that much closer to losing the series. And you give the Knicks a seed of confidence every single time you allow them to do what they did in games 1 and 2. And now the Knicks believe. I don't think they were sure they could beat this team going into this series, the way they played in the regular season. But you gave them game 1. You gave them a little bit of confidence. They're like, all right, we can beat these guys now. Even if we get down, we can beat them. But you know what you did tonight? You gave the Knicks the confidence that they not only could beat you, they can now win the series. And I don't even think they believe that going into even tonight's game. I don't think they thought they were going to win this game tonight. You saw Brunson after the game. He said, I don't even know what just happened. Basically. I don't think he thought they were going to win this game tonight. To a man. That's just me watching from the outside. So, if you're the Knicks now, and if you're the Celtics of what you just did, you just gave that team confidence. And you now let that team think they can beat you in this series now. That's what you did. And we have a series now. Now, I said I don't think it's over. There's a long way to go. The Celtics are still the better team. They've played well on the road. They played better on the road than at home this season. They could easily go into Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks haven't played their best in the postseason. They've been better on the road. Knicks are 5-0 on the road now, 1-2 at home in the postseason. Go figure. But they're going to have confidence going in that they can win in the Garden and then get right back in the series. So this is a long way from over, but the one thing they did do is they gave the Knicks confidence now that they can win this series. And that's a dangerous thing to give a talented team. And now the Celtics, I think, after tonight, after game one, they threw it away. They said, you know what? We blew the game. We'll come back game two. We'll bury them. Now you lost game two. Now you're down 2-0. Now the Celtics are starting to get a little bit. Shit, this might be a tough series. We might lose this series if we don't step up. And when you start thinking like that, every shot becomes tougher. So you've missed all these shots now. Every shot you take becomes more pressurized because of the sense of urgency you now have on those shots. As opposed to when you're playing free and loose and, yeah, we're beating them, we're going to beat them, we're up, it don't matter. Hey, that ain't the case anymore. If the Celtics didn't take them seriously going into this series, like most of the media didn't, they sure take them seriously now. I'm still in shock. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I still can't believe the Knicks won this game, or won both those games, and now lead 2-0 and winning both games on the road. I'm in shock. But for the Knicks, every game that you keep close, every game you have a chance to win in this series, that the Celtics don't blow you out, because that's obviously, we've seen the first two games, Celtics been up big. They've blown the Knicks out a lot this season, and the Celtics have that capability. Every game that you keep close, you got to steal it. Because that's going to be the difference in this series. Because every game you steal, it's one more game the Celtics have to win. Because when you're the worst team and the Knicks are the lesser team here, the Knicks are a good basketball team, but they're not as good as Boston. And when your margin for error is so slim, you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And when you have a chance to steal a game, you got to steal it. Because now you've stolen 2 games. So now the Celtics, who think one of these games are going to start shooting well, well, you know what? Now you got to win 4 or 5. Now you got to win 4 or 5 to win the series. So now you better start shooting well soon. If the Celtics split those games 1-1, all right, we'll get it. Now you better get it soon. And every game the Knicks steal makes it more difficult for them to do that. So I think for the Knicks, they got to steal every close game they're in. They got to take the opportunity. They got to seize it. Because that's how much of it, that's how good Boston is. That's the respect level I have for Boston as a basketball team. Tremendous team. But right now, you got them doubting themselves a little bit. You got them a little off. And when you could do that to someone, when you put that seed of doubt inside them, that's all you need sometimes. That's all you need. And we've seen in the NBA, we saw the Heat were the 8 seed, they were the 5 seed, they went to the finals. We saw the Mavericks were the 5 seed. We've seen teams get hot and go to the finals. Now, usually those teams lose when they get there, but we've seen teams get hot and pick teams off and surprise you in series. We've seen it. So you give them a little bit of confidence, and then all of a sudden, this series, what you thought it was going to be, is now way different than what you thought. And that's what's happening here. So Knicks go up 2-0 in shocking fashion. I still can't believe what I watched. Still can't believe it. Mazzulla, very weird game too. Very weird game. Hacked to Robinson, then didn't. Was 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that strategy. I don't know what his plan was there. Either do it or don't do it. Right? You can't go half in, half out with that strategy. If you're going to foul him, foul him. But don't foul him, get the Knicks in the penalty, and then don't foul him. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what he was doing there. And a shout out to a few guys on the Knicks, because I think they deserve it. And they've gotten a lot of grief in this whole season. Number 1 is Mitchell Robinson. who I thought he would have trouble in this series. I'm not going to lie to you, because Robinson's strengths are protecting the rim, great shot blocker, great offensive rebounder. The Pistons series was perfect for him. Jalen Duren is his type of center that he does really well against. The Celtics, on the other hand, are the opposite. Now, Porzingis hasn't played a lot, which I think has helped because of the illness. But the Celtics have guys you have to go guard out on the perimeter, and Robinson, that's where he struggles the most. Not in this series. I thought he had a rough first half of game one. Since then, in the last 6 quarters, he's been absolutely sensational, and I got to give him his due, because I didn't expect him to play this well, guarding out in space, and he's been absolutely terrific, and he's given the Knicks a huge lift. I think he's got the best plus-minus in the whole series so far. So shout out to him. Shout out to Mikal Bridges. Everyone's been hard on him. And it's not his fault. You know, the issue is what they gave up to get him. Right? Anytime you give up a package of 5 first-round picks, which is really a package you go get an all-NBA player for, a Giannis, a Durant, and when you get Mikal Bridges for him, for that, it's an unfair expectation that's on him because he's a good player. He's just not those guys. And when you give up that package, you expect to get what you gave up. And that's why I think all the fans have been, well, 5 first-round picks, this is a big deal. And that's why everyone said all this. It's not fair to Bridges. It's just a reality of they overpaid to get that player. And he struggled this year. Whether it's the expectation, whether it's the pressure in New York, I don't know. He struggled this year, especially on offense. All his offensive numbers are down across the board, his shooting numbers. And that has continued in these playoffs. His shooting numbers have not been good. But number one, his defense has been off the charts. Off the charts in both series. Especially these 2 games in this series. And then when you've needed his offense most, where he doesn't do anything for 3 quarters, or he doesn't do anything for 3.5 quarters, but he makes the big plays at the end. Hits the big corner 3 in game 1, scores 14 points in the 4th quarter in game 2, and really kept your offense afloat. So shout out to him, kudos to him, because he's gotten so much grief, and tonight he deserves to be praised, because he saved the Knicks tonight. And number 3 is the other guy everyone's been very critical of, and I have too at times. And I'm going to own that, and I'll stand on that. And I think his issue is that at times he hasn't adapted on the fly. He's been unwilling to change. But the Knicks coach this series has changed. And he's shown you some different things, and it's made all the difference. Number 1, the switching. He's pretty much switched every pick and roll defensively the entire 2 games, aside from a little bit in the second half of game 1, and it's worked to perfection. He does not like to play defense like that. And he's done that this series. I never thought he would do that. He's done it, and it's worked, and it's been great. So shout out to him for that. And then also, he's trusted his bench a little more. The 2 guys that he does trust, he's played minutes, Deuce and Mitch. They've been out there. They've made contributions. And even tonight, he's stuck with the big lineup with Mitch and Cat down the stretch and left OG on the bench. And that was a tough decision to make. And it worked. And he could have easily said, I'm going back to my starters. That's what I always do, and da-da-da-da. But you know what? He's stuck with the big lineup that was working. And it paid off. So shout out to him. Because we got to be unbiased about it. And he's coached a very good 2 games so far. Long way to go. Got to close this series out. Got to win this series now. Now you're up 2-0. Right? So it's funny because everyone before the series, the Knicks, they may win a game. If they win 2 games, it'll be lucky. That's the most anyone gave them was 2 games. Well, now you're up 2-0. And you won both on the road. So there was no pressure to win this series before. Now you got to win the series. You're up 2-0 going home. You got 5 games left. You only got to win 2 of them. And you got 3 games at home. That's a series you got to win now. So now the pressure, the Knicks, the coaching staff has the pressure. They got to close this series out. So shout out to those guys. Knicks are going to have to be a whole lot better on offense in game 3 if they want to continue this. Can't keep going down 20 points in the second half and coming back. It's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. Can't keep doing it. Got to play a better 4-quarter game, especially on offense. I thought their defense was tremendous tonight the whole way. Offensively, it's got to get better. Brunson has had a rough series so far. He's come up big in the big moments like he always does, but he's had a rough series. And part of that, Drew Holiday's one of the best defenders of all time at the guard position. He's that good. And Brunson's had no answers for him. And the Celtics have done this, have changed now where they're not switching at all with Brunson. They're just going to leave Holiday on him. And they want him to get over every screen. He's basically picking up Brunson off the team bus. And he's been tremendous on defense. And Brunson's going to have to figure this out. They're going to have to figure out ways to get Brunson the ball. They're going to have to figure out ways to get him loose, to get Holiday off of him a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be a long series. 6 for 19 tonight, 16 points. If the Knicks lose that game, that's what you're looking at. And I think they have to find a way to keep Towns involved in the offense. They do this where he's involved in the first half, and then they completely go away from him in the second half. Got to keep him involved. He was effective in the first half. He had a good first half, and then really didn't see the ball at all in the fourth quarter. Now, Bridges was hot, so they were going to him, but you got to get Towns the ball as well in the fourth quarter. He cannot be a no-show. He cannot be uninvolved in the offense. The coaching staff has got to figure that out. Brunson's got to figure that out. Get him the ball inside, especially if Brunson is having trouble with Holiday. Get Towns the rock. So I think those things have got to be tweaked a little bit. Can't score 91 points and win games. Like, you're gonna have to play better offense. Because you know the Celtics, one of these games are going to make a few shots, and the Knicks are going to have to score if they want to win those games. So, yeah, you're going home, but the Knicks are 5-0 on the road in the playoffs, only 1-2 at the Garden. So they're going to have to play better there. They have not played well at home. And game 1, they beat Detroit. They should have lost that game too. So they really haven't played well in any of the games at the Garden yet. Can they do that in game 3, which is a pivotal game for the Knicks to really feel like they can win this series? So, insane game 1, more insane game 2. Celtics choke both games away. Knicks steal it right out of their chest. Big Bridges game tonight. Big Mitchell Robinson game tonight. Really good Hart game tonight too. I thought Hart wasn't great in the first half, was great in the second half. So, Knicks go up 2-0 on the Celtics. I'm as shocked as anybody else. Long way to go in this series. Don't think it's over by any means. I think the game 3 is going to be very important, especially, believe it or not, for the Knicks. You don't want to go into game 4 only up 2-1, and then the Celtics cake game 4, and then we're back where we started. It's like game 1 and 2 never happened. So, Knicks up 2-0. We'll see you tomorrow for the fourth quarter of Wolves Warriors on the Shot Clock on TikTok Live. We'll be doing play-by-play there. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon on TikTok for an NBA playoff kind of chat. We'll react to stuff. We'll just do a bunch of shit. So come in for TikTok tomorrow afternoon. We'll do a live talking NBA, everything. And then we'll be back doing live play-by-play tomorrow on TikTok as well. And the post-game, if it's a close game, Warriors, T-Wolves. Unfortunately, no Steph Curry tomorrow night. So Knicks beat the Celtics, go up 2-0. Game 3 at the Garden on Saturday. That place is going to be on fire. The Garden is going to be... Listen... The get-in price, if you didn't hear, for the Garden, the get-in price for Game 3 is over $800. The get-in price. That means you're basically on the roof. So, if you want tickets to that game, you might have to get a second job this week. You may have to, create a GoFundMe page. You may have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know. You have to do something. Maybe a third job. Because that's how expensive those tickets are. You come in there with a couple of pennies, you ain't getting in. No. No. That's going to be wild scene at the Garden on Saturday. And I'll be in the building. And I can't wait. Side note, Thunder destroyed the Nuggets tonight. Not much to talk about there. We knew that was going to probably happen. Game 3, same thing. 1-1 in that series. Going to Denver. I figured OKC would bounce back like that. They were the best team for a reason. Now Denver's got to respond in game 3, but not much to talk about there. OKC handled the business. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow on the Shot Clock.